Excluding the first few races of the 2022 season, Red Bull's Max Verstappen had an easy ride toward his second world title. But the Dutchman isn't oblivious to the fact that many teams started to figure things out as the season wound down. So, who is the biggest threat to Max's crown? And is he actually beatable this time around? Well, you're going to stick around to find that out. But before we get started, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on our latest uploads. Now that's out of the way, let's get started. Max Verstappen, on his way to winning his second straight world title, set a record of winning 15 races in 2022 and 146 points lead over runner-up Charles Leclerc. This is exactly why the Dutchman is still seen as a clear favorite to win it all again in 2023, despite Mercedes and Ferrari coming alive towards the latter half of the season. As Verstappen, the second-time world champion, says that he remains optimistic about his and Red Bull's chances of repeating this season, but predicts that things will be a lot harder this time around, given that teams have now had a full year with the new rules. When asked about his chances of obliterating his competition yet again in 2023, Max would respond with, "I think that's going to be hard, but I do think that we can be very competitive again. I just think that other teams will catch up a bit." Max came off a fiery 2021 season where he and Mercedes driver Lewis Hamilton went back and forth all season long, only for Lewis to not win a single race in 2022, which Max believes is a possibility for him as well. To be honest, I don't really think about it too much, Verstappen responded when asked if he is mentally prepared for his dominant spell to potentially come to an end. "I know that if I have a quick car that I can deliver, but sometimes you don't have that car, and I know that these times will arrive, but hopefully not too soon." This is also exactly why the team's head of driver development, Helmut Marko, has revealed that the team are keeping an eye out for Mercedes. "I would say that we should fear Mercedes more in 2023, said Marko, mainly because they have an advantage over Ferrari in terms of strategy and reliability. The 2022 season was the best Red Bull has ever had, both in terms of race wins and points scored, but Marko would make it clear that their performance in 2022 isn't the same as Mercedes' dominant start to the V6 hybrid era, where they went on to win consecutive titles. Our situation is certainly not like that of Mercedes at the beginning of the hybrid era, Marko added. We don't have an immense lead with the engine right now, so that is very different. Mercedes had at least 50 bhp margin over all the others back then. Now, if you're a Mercedes fan, this should be music to your ears, especially with how disappointing the 2022 season was for the team. But to Lewis Hamilton, the seven-time world champion isn't hoping for a one-on-one battle with Max for the title, but instead hopes for a three-way battle with Ferrari included as well. Speaking to F1's official website, the seven-time world champion would say, "I'd like to think that we're going to be the ones that are competing with them and being able to beat them, Red Bull. Again, I do believe that for sure, but I really hope that Ferrari is strong in the following years," he added. "They've definitely had a difficult year, but there's been some strong signs, obviously, that you've seen this year, which has been nice to see. And it's been nice to see Ferrari doing well again. So I hope that it's more than a two-way battle next year. I hope there's at least three of us, if not surprisingly, maybe more. Like, why can't McLaren be there? We'll see. Or even Alpine's been doing amazing, so we'll see," he mused. But even with an unselfish remark about a hopeful three-way battle for the title, Lewis would insist that Mercedes have what it takes to regain their championship form. "We've got amazing support from the Daimler board, who all like racing. They're passionate racers. And then I think it's the core group of people. There's great communication throughout the organization," he pointed out. "Toto Wolff is very focused as a leader to really elevate people," he went on. "I don't know any other leader that I've worked with, at least that goes and says, 'Hey, how are things at home? How can I help support you better so you have more time with your wife or your husband or with your partner, with your kids, so that you come to work and be happier and want to commit more?' That's what Toto is. So I think it's that, and because of that, there's a real general hunger within the team," the Briton maintained. And as for Toto, the Mercedes team boss would recently reveal that their W14 may look the same as the W13, but that the car's tricks are hidden underneath. Toto would say to planetf1.com, "It's full of surprises. The last time I saw it, I thought, oh, this looks the same as the W13, but here's hoping it's not the same. I'm pretty much like you. I go into the wind tunnel and it looks like this year's car, but they say to me it's very different underneath. It's about the airflow, it's about the weight distribution, it's about the aero map." And when asked about the issues the team had encountered in 2022, Toto would say, "I think we have a much better understanding of what the problems were. We've been peeling only a layer of the onion, layers of discovering more issues and more problems, but I think we've come to the point that we understand pretty well why the car is not performing. The correlation, at least, is there for some tracks, so it's all in the fine detail of how can we make the car work out aerodynamically? How can we improve the ride and make it more fun?" The Mercedes team has clearly learned from their difficulties in the previous season and is determined to bounce back with the W14. The team's priority is to provide a solid foundation for the drivers and then work on improving the car from that point, according to Wolff. "I think if we're able to solve that over the winter, at least we can provide a stable platform to the drivers and we can develop it from there," Toto added. Another driver vying for the title is Ferrari's Carlos Sainz, who recently labeled the two-time world champion beatable in 2023. The Scuderia had a strong start to the season, but because of numerous reliability issues and strategic errors, which resulted in the departure of team principal Mattia Binotto, he has been replaced by Alfa Romeo's Frédéric Vasseur for the 2023 season. Sainz has maintained that despite their disappointing second half of the season, Ferrari is not far behind Red Bull in terms of raw performance. However, he believes the team needs to be more strategic in how they approach races in order to be successful. It should be noted that Ferrari achieved the most pole positions of the 2022 season. He told Spanish publication Mundo Deportivo, "Unfortunately, we couldn't keep up with them, Red Bull. They had a better package and the driver at the moment was better. I think with a perfect year, it is possible to beat Max, and also by improving in the first part of the season and in the races. That's the target. There are possibilities. Red Bull have dominated, but they haven't been clearly ahead in qualifying or race pace. I don't feel we're that far away in terms of development and performance, because, for example, in Austin, I was on pole. We were 1-2. We're not that far away. We need a little bit more power, a little more downforce, and another step more in strategy and race execution. In terms of pure performance, we are not far away." And there you have it, guys. So who do you want to see come out on top in this three-way battle? Let us know in the comment section below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't.